Welcome to Return on Insights, the show where candid conversations with bold founders and leaders spark actionable insights for your business. I'm David Lindover.
And I'm Erin Abatangelo. Each week, we pull back the curtain with leaders who are scaling teams and shaping the future, sharing the insights that create impact far beyond the bottom line.
Discover how high-performing companies build enduring cultures, inspire teams to think bigger, and turn vision into action. If you see storytelling as your strategic advantage, you're in the right place.
Welcome back to Return on Insights, where we go behind the scenes with leaders who are rethinking how work works and why the way they lead matters more than ever. Today, I'm joined by Janice Siddons, president of Produce8. Is it Produce8?
Produce8, Janice Siddons.
Yes. So Produce8 is a platform helping teams recover lost time and build better digital work habits. But what really makes this conversation interesting is how Janice leads. As she puts it, my whole passion in life is to serve others. Although I've been on the technology track, that's not what motivates me. It's the people and getting them ramped up. So if that's what you're interested in listening to on this show, we're not just going to talk tech, but we're going to dive into the real work of leadership. So let's get into it. Because if you've ever felt like work days are starting to feel a little bit like digital quicksand, or you're wondering how to lead people through this change, Janice is going to help us because she's going to help us understand how we don't lose them along the way. So Janice, thank you for joining. How are you?
I'm awesome, Erin. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you.
Oh, thank you. This is one I've been really looking forward to since the last time we talked. You've got a lot of great insights that we're really excited about. What I want to do is I want to start with something a little less business. So let's talk a little bit about you, the person behind the title.
You got it.
Because I know people call you Super J, and I need to know, where does that come from?
So Super J came from my time when I went back to school. So in my mid-40s, I went back to school, actually. So it's like a mid-career change. And I did my executive MBA. And during that course, so we're in a cohort, but we're also put into little teams of where we need to accomplish things. And I have this way of when there's all this big stuff that needs to happen, I have a way of being able to really zone it in and rein it in and get to the heart of what we need to do. And so with my team, they essentially gave me that nickname of Super J. And it's something that I've always just stuck with me because it's all about positivity and motivating people to say, you know what, we can do this. At that point, as the example in the NBA, we were all doing 80-hour work weeks.
Yeah.
So it is crazy times, and you've got to keep that mental strong. And so when those tough times would come, you got to grab onto that attitude that you're going to get it done. And so it's just something that's always resonated with me. And if I need that quick check-in, I'll just be like, yeah, Super J mode, we got this, or we can do this. So that's where it originated.
So how do you find then that, has your leadership changed, or the way you have, led people over the years changed based on what you learned in that moment and, the Super J behind the scenes? Like, how has that evolved your leadership as you sit back and think about that a little bit?
Yeah, like that program was truly transformational from when I went into that program to when I came out of that program. And I mean, going into it, I had all this amazing, I've just been blessed with such a great career, and I had all this hands-on experience. But what people don't realize is in the MBA program, you spend a lot of time on the psychological end of things, understanding the human aspect. And so those tools that I call in my leadership toolkit, I will constantly draw upon them to a very high degree. So it was absolutely transformational and a real opportunity where I said, you know what? Learning is just so phenomenal. And when you're in there, you think, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. My learning's going to be done. And then you have this aha moment that, no, this is actually the beginning of the learning journey. And so now I just love to learn and soak it in. So I'm so grateful that I had that experience.
In one of our past conversations, we talked about something I'm going to bring up because we talked about people
Yeah.
early on in our conversations. And I know you've said in the past that it's not about improving people's day, the people who work for you.
Yeah.
It's all about a refreshing take on technology. And sorry, if it's not improving people's day,
Correct.
right?
It's not improving. Yeah. So it really comes down to that, right? And I mean, in my career, I mean, I've been able to watch technology really evolve, right? Like when you go back and you can kind of laugh, but I mean, there were the days when people shared an email account, believe it or not. I
I
mean,
remember those days.
it's like when email was new, right? And then so you see that technology growing and growing and consuming. But what we have to remember is it's got to benefit the people. So
Right.
you can't lose sight of the people when all this technology is coming at you. So for me, it always goes back to the people, really listening to them. And for every company, I believe there's two critical journeys: your employee journey and your customer journey. And if you're not paying attention to both of those, you're going to have some problems coming your way, in my opinion. And that, I don't just mean that to say, you got to actually live that. You actually need to listen to what your team is saying to you. And I'll give you a really good example of that. When we were at Fully Managed, so a lot of our growth came through acquisitions. So you think about all these smaller companies coming together, and everybody was using different technology. And we had to go on a digital transformation path because we needed to consolidate all of the systems. So you can just imagine, right? So the first conversation we had around that was, oh yeah, we're going to do A, B, and C, right? And we're going to get this done. Well,
Yeah.
from that journey to where we landed up, I mean, we wound up forming a digital transformation committee, and we got employees involved from all different aspects. And I'm telling you, we made several pivots along that journey where we truly mapped out, how are you working? How is this going to change? And how is it going to impact your day? Because if we just throw technology at it, but we don't understand, how is Erin working today?
So
And
important.
Erin needs to get her job done, but can she get it done properly with the workflows we've now designed? And so I think as leaders, we have to remember that sometimes we're elevated above, and Fully Managed got quite big. So, I mean, to the end, when we sold it, it was 500 team members. And I'm telling you, there's lots of layers there. And so you have to be really, really careful. And you've got to involve the team to get them on board. And that's where your culture comes in, right?
Yep.
That's where culture is so key, that they've got a seat at that table, and they're helping to understand where you're going and where you're driving.
You know, it's interesting because we've had so many conversations lately about, people worried that AI is going to take over, so many people's jobs. And oh my God, I'm not needed as a writer anymore because AI can do it for me. But what I think a lot of leaders are failing to understand is that, there's human insight, there's insight into human behavior. There's all these things that AI doesn't have yet.
Yeah.
So it's getting employees to work differently, not replacing them. It's how do we use technology to help people do things better in their day so that the value of the human can be added somewhere else. And I know that's something that you're very keen on, and you're very interested in ensuring that your employees have the ability to work better, to do better, and to produce better. And that's kind of what you're bringing to the public as well.
Absolutely. I mean, at Produce8, I mean, the beautiful thing about Produce8, if I go through my journey of time, back at Enable and Fully Managed, we didn't have a technology like Produce8. So I use this concept with people that you really are flying blind to some degree.
Yeah.
If I had the Produce8 technology at those past companies, wow, like to have the data insights into how we're working. And that's what we really bring to the table at Produce8 is insights. And the example I give, everybody has a fitness watch or a Fitbit, whatever your choice is, but that gives you all of your health metrics, your walking steps. Well, on the flip side, on the digital side, you get analytics now that are super easy to understand on, how many hours am I actually working? What was my focus time? What applications am I spending my day in? And of those, like, let's be honest, there's applications that are good applications where I'm productive, and there's ones that are just sucking my time and I shouldn't be in them. And that's where this leakage can come in. And then people still have their work to get done.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into burnout and stuff like that. So Produce8 is all about the wellness with the employee and the company, because when we're doing that healthily for both, that's where the beautiful benefits start to come out.
Right. I'm always fascinated. Fascinated when I do plug in my watch and get get the power going on it to see how little I move. But the second is when I do actually sit down and look at my day, as someone who owns their own business, it's so incredibly important, even for people like me, to be able to look at, where am I spending my hours? Am I truly spending them where I need to be? So, it's a fascinating discussion, not just from a technology perspective, because the data insights, absolutely critical. It's something I'm very passionate about. But when you actually start doing the analysis of how we spend our time, whether it's work or however it is, we start to see a different picture of our lives. And, what does that look like? And am I getting enough breaks during the day, or am I pushing through to the point of burnout, right? One of the things you posted on LinkedIn recently was about taking the opportunity to rest. And the importance, not just to the person themselves, but to the organization and to the work itself. So rest is really critical. Can you talk to me a little bit about your point of view around that? Because I think that when we look at our day and we see how much we're go, it's important to kind of plug that rest in.
You know what, 100%. And I think we all have to be honest with the fact that we were all conditioned, myself included, that, we work hard, we go hard. And that was sort of our worth in showing, hey, like I did this, I did these many hours. And then you get to the point in your life where you realize, wait a second, like, how am I actually feeling? Is this really the way that I should be doing this? And when you start to drill into the data, the answers are actually no. You need to have that balance so that you are properly, and when I talk about taking care of yourself, that's your mental, your physical, so that when you go into your workday, you are showing up as your best self. And it's proven that you will do so much better and feel so much better. And team members, once they've done that, once they've done their day, they're done. They've done a phenomenal job. And if they can zone in now on, okay, how did that make me feel? Where was my day? Where was I productive and not? And then you can make small habit changes. But it's really, really critical to know that every team member, I believe, needs to have proper rest, proper care, proper taking care of themselves. And then they come in feeling really good. And
Absolutely.
It's good and everybody benefits.
The more you can build that into your day. I build it into my day. I purposely do time blocking for time to read email, time to do all of that. Whether it's during the workday, or I even block out personal time, like in after hours or before hours for this. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. So you seem to have, I don't know what the right term is. It's not necessarily control, or you seem to be good at this, right? It's important to you, and you've learned how to include this in your day. So what do you say to other leaders or people on teams that, are losing productivity because they're not resting or they're not taking those times? So how do you encourage this with other leaders and organizations?
You know what? I coach on that all the time, and I have those conversations. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I can coach and coach and coach. But at the end of the day, we all hold the own keys to our power. And
Critical.
so I will point that out gently. I actually had that conversation yesterday with somebody, and I said, listen, I am encouraging you, and I'm commending, I want you to go in this direction, right? And when something happens, so we had a team member that had to work some extra time because of a situation. And so I said gently back, so, okay, what are you going to do to balance that out? I want you to think about that. And
what was the reaction?
Well, they were like, wow, thank you, Janice. And then somebody said to me, am I thinking about this wrong? Like, shouldn't we just do that? And I said, no, absolutely not. I understand it can happen the odd time, but that's not the norm. And I'm very open in meetings. Like, we review the data, and I'll say, hey guys, working hours are pushing here. I'm definitely going to be watching that. But people need to hear it. People need to feel safe. I think people need to hear it more and more that no, like I'm not expecting that. And you're not a superhero when you do that in my eyes. You know what I mean?
I
You
think
have to feel comfortable to speak up and say that.
important from a
Yeah.
leadership perspective to hear your leader say that, like that must be a breath of fresh air, like to employees. But how have you found the organizations that are using this tool from Produce8? Like, are they finding that people are doing things differently enough that they're more productive because they understand how they're working? And I don't mean more productive in the traditional sense of working 15 hours a day without
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah.
I'm talking productive in the 7.5, 8 hour days that they're supposed to be working.
Absolutely, because it brings the awareness. And when you have the awareness, and that's where I was saying, so within our product, you can take challenges because people need that touch of saying, you know what, today I'm going to do a block time. And so I'm going to set up a challenge for the month and I'm going to challenge myself to do that. And then you get rewarded within the product. It will say, you know what, great job, Erin, you did that today. And you get like a fun emoji and stuff like that. But what happens over time, it takes time to form these new habits. But we
Yes.
can all form them and we are in control of ourselves. And when that little voice happens of I'm not going to do that or this happened, we've got to be really kind to ourselves and say, you know what, we slipped today, but tomorrow is a new day. And this is important. My wellness is important.
Yeah.
And I need to show up as my best self. And so when you take those steps with consistency, and I'm not saying you've got to do massive swings, a little bit at a time. And when you do a little bit at a time, then guess what? You're ready to grow further. I mean, I'm somebody who has, in my opinion, completely transformed my work-life balance and my wellness overall, where wellness now is like, it's just a norm and that's the way it's going to be. And I will protect that and have healthy boundaries and feel it in my day. Like, know what I'm doing and flourish. And my team knows I'm very vocal about that. And they are encouraged to do the same.
That's fantastic. So switching gears a little bit, going back to not going back. I mean, we've been talking about your leadership skills and how you lead the whole time. But what would you say has been a consistent for you? Like as a leader, we all grow, we learn, we grow. You know, every opportunity, every job, every employee teaches us something. But what would you say has been your consistent? And I don't know if that goes back to Super J or not, but
you know what? I think for me, consistency is just always being present for the people I'm working with and being there and holding space for them. So as they get to know me, then they feel more comfortable and I build trust with them. And I think for me, that's if I look back at my career to all of it, it's just always showing up for my team members. And really, I look at we're all together, right? Like I just say, I'm a team member just like you. Now I'm responsible and accountable to make sure they have what they need to succeed. Let's be honest.
right.
There to help bring out the best in them. And I think that's what I do a good job at. I really believe in kind leadership. That doesn't mean not being strategic at all. Actually the opposite. So
Absolutely.
I think highly strategic and brings out the best. But I love watching people soar and I love watching people fly. And then I see them at a point in their journey, right? Like we all go on to different things and we do things, but we can stay connected. And, you know, people will reach out and will say, you know what, Janice, like, thank you for that, or vice versa. They touch you at a moment in time. And I want to know consistently that if I've crossed paths with you, that I've touched you in a way that's helped you in a really positive manner, that's a win for me. That's my why.
That's really well, one, it resonates with me deeply, because I do believe that with leadership there's a level of authenticity and a level of kindness that comes with leadership. So to me, I love hearing that from someone who is in the position to guide people. And then something you said you love watching people soar, you love watching them fly. One of the things that I love about Produce8 is the gamification idea around, you know, cheering people on. Congrats, you did it today, right? Like a lot of people don't celebrate the small wins. They don't pat themselves on the back. So being able to provide them with a tool in their day that reminds them you're doing the right thing, right? Like, congrats, to celebrate for you if you can't celebrate for yourself. So I love that idea.
Amazing.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is I just want to kind of go into a little bit of a different direction once again. Something we haven't done before, but I'm really excited about this. And this is all about ROI from real leaders. So Janice, this is going to be some 4 quick questions.
Okay.
Don't think about them. I just want to hear your answer. Okay, we're gonna go quick. Okay. One leadership myth that must die. Has to go.
Has to go. Don't get too close to your team.
Ooh, okay. That's a whole podcast in itself. That's a whole conversation. Okay. Worst piece of tech or leadership advice you've ever received?
So I think that we need to have all the answers. So I don't think we do. I think we need to ask really good questions.
That's good. A tool or practice that's been a game changer for you?
Being present and just showing up for my team. So for me, it's being there.
Okay. And last one, book or quote that's changed how you lead?
You know what? I've always been in my journey. I've always felt like a leader, and I've read so many leadership books along the way. But one that I recently read, which falls right in line with this, is called The Heart-Centered Leader by Julie Cass, and it's beautifully written. And so I would highlight that as just something that people could really hold on to.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's a great, great book. Okay, so this has been fantastic. Thank you very much. Before we go, though, I just have one last question. Okay. For any leader, starting leader, manager level, director, CEO, whoever it is that is listening, what would you tell them how to actually balance tech with humanity? So what would be the one piece of advice that you would leave with them?
To really listen to your team. Listen to your team about what they're telling you about that, not to check a box about technology, but to listen to them about how they're using it.
No, that's fantastic. So, knowing that tech enables us, but
Exactly.
people are what are the actual drivers behind, progress and success. I think that's fantastic. So thank you. Couldn't agree more with you. So that is it for today on Return of Insights. If you found this conversation valuable, which we both know you did, make sure to follow the show, share more episodes with your teams, and catch up with us. And don't forget to follow Janice on LinkedIn and Produce8 as well. So thank you very much, Janice. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Erin.
Thanks.